let's hope all this technology kind of all goes together tonight and is working. Hopefully, I am live on my page that I've been live on for a dog's age, as long as we can remember. It still says Let's Learn Cricket, and I apologize for that, but that's what Facebook wants it to say. And as much as I argue, I'm trying to get this light not to look like I'm in the witness protection program. As much as I argue, hey Susan, and try and explain to them, it's still me, and that they tell me it's misleading if I change the name. I'm like, well, it's misleading if I leave it the same, but you know, there's no arguing with the metaverse, so they win. But that's okay. We're still us, and I'm not changing who I am, and this is what I do. I did start another page, but it's just so confusing for me, and I hope it's not confusing for you, and enough about that. We are making cards tonight, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time rambling. I just want to show you how to find what's going on, okay? So you're just going to go to karamiller.com. It's the easiest way. And you are going to see this when you get there. Now, the way I'm setting up my classes is you will see the demonstration here online, here in Facebook Live. And if you want to write down notes or whatever, you can. If you would like the written tutorial, then you're going to go ahead and purchase from my Stampin' Up store, and I'm dropping the requirement to $20, which means you can do it. If you purchase $20 in supplies, which is not huge, I know it's a lot some days, but it's not a huge, you don't need a big order is what I'm trying to tell you. Hey, Lana, you'll get enrolled in the classroom, okay? If not, and you just want to copy what you see me doing, go for it. I will give you the measurements in class, but I'm not writing them down. The written tutorial, everything is all in one classroom, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. So you're going to click on Classroom, and it's going to bring you here. These are the ones we did last week. If you just want to buy the class and you don't want a deal, you don't need to order, go ahead and click on it. But what I want you to see is it'll say enroll for $20. If you placed an order with me, don't do that. Let me give you the code to go on in. But scroll down, and if you scroll down, it'll let you go in and preview. Go preview, okay? You can see this without buying. You can do the preview. And I want you to do that so you can see what it is. It's going to let me do more because I'm here, because I'm me, but what have you. This shows you what I use. So here's your orders. You can figure out what you need to order. Now, you may not need all those things, but that's what I used, okay? All right, so there's that. And then this, let me get back a little. Even more. We need to go back some more. Come on. You can do it. I'm going to go back here to show you. Classroom. What's new? These are the ones we're doing this week. Same deal. Order from Stampin' Up, you get this class, okay? The cutting guide right here. Cutting guide and assembly instructions you can download, but you can see a preview again by looking at preview. And it shows you what you need to order. Now, you may have a lot of these things. You may want to use things you already have on hand and just follow along with the cards, okay? Hope that makes sense. Go to karamiller.com, read it, see what's what. Yeah. I was just trying to explain to my husband that I think it's melting, and he thinks I'm crazy because he was shoveling yet again. But we probably got like 7 or 8 inches, which isn't huge. It's still snow. And I'd like it to go away. I'm ready. But it is starting to melt. It was pretty today. It was warm-ish. Okay, so there's 4 cards in this. Oh, goodness. And it's definitely mud too, I know. Mud season came a couple times. It's here again. These are the two we're going to work on tonight. And then later in the week, I have this one in this sweet little box. And they will be in the classroom, those tutorials, okay? All right, so tonight we're working on these. Let me move these guys out of my way. And we are using On the Farm, which is adorable, and a gazillion, well, that's an exaggeration, little dies. I forget how many there are, 27 little dies, and there's tons of them. I'm using a few, but not all. Let me just show you some of the others that I'm not using tonight. Get in here. So you can see there's, I don't know what you are. They coordinate with all the stamps. And then there's just cows you could do, not stamped cows, but just cut out cows and chickens and bunnies and pigs, trees, a chicken, a cloud, a windmill, lots of cool farm-ish shapes, okay? So that's the bundle part. And then the stamp set, now you're gonna I'm gonna open this, you're gonna go, where did they go? I have a lot. They're all out on blocks because I've been using them. But they're all in here and they're super cute. Okay, so first card we're gonna do is this one. And there's this really interesting die that I want to show you. That's why I'm doing this. It gives you the kind of landscape back here, which is kind of cool. Oh, and I went with the Hello, it's this one, Hello Irresistible, which is the paper that I used last week because I just love the colors. And it works for this. So if you bought the bundle, the Irresistible bundle, or you ordered this designer series paper, you will use it for lots more than just that. That's why I'm using it today. And I'm probably going to use this all month long because it's just so cool. All right. I try not to make you feel like you need to order every single thing every day. I want you to look at these and see how they might work for you. If this is one bundle that you'll use, definitely grab it. If it's something you think, yeah, that's cute, but I don't live on a farm and I would never do farms, take this idea and turn it into a different card with a stamp set you already have. All right, so first things first, we're going to start with our card base. And the card base is, I use the thick basic white. Let me see if I can grab it so I can show you. It's right here. The thick basic white, it's upside down, right? It's heavier, so it gives your card a little substantial base, right? And then we have regular basic white that I use to stamp on, okay? So let me just show you. I have one already made, but let's do it together. This is 8.5 by 11. I'm going to cut it at 5.5. All right, super simple. And then I'm going to score it at 4.25 this way. Remember, the trimmer has the dark one is the cut, the light gray is the score. Can't tell you how many I cut in half the first few times I used it, but I did. And then I'm going to take this, which is kind of like watercolory, but with this graphic on it. I really like this. The other side's cool too. And P.S. fits the dies from that bundle that we used last week. But this week we're using this side. And we're going to cut a 4 by 5.25. And I want you to hold on to that piece that you're going to cut off. 4 by 5.25. Let me just tell you a little bit about these pieces that we cut off. This works really well because it's 2 inches by 6. This will work great for something. In this case, it's going to work great for this piece right here, but I used another piece, a different piece of paper, and I used this on another card. So I'm going to take this one, which I love, the soft sea foam with kind of the white in it. I just love that. Leaves on the other side. And I'm going to do the same cut. I'm going to do this because the trimmer's out. So we're going to do this at 4 by 5.25. And the reason I'm doing this is because this card, that is a great size for any card front. 4 by 5.25. You won't waste it at all. What I really need for this card is the 2-inch strip. So I'm going to take these little babies and put them away in my use me in a few minutes pile. And this is what I need for this card, all right? I also need that use you in a few minutes. I'm bringing you back. I'm going to use this one. Actually, where did that little skinny piece go? Did I lose it already? Oh, Kara, you are helpless. Helpless. Don't know how I lose things so quickly. This one, that's the one I want. That little strip, okay? Oh, Sherry, thank you. Okay, so I want this piece. This is actually going to make these little mountains that you see down here. See these little mountains? They're going to come out of this strip, all right? Then I want this. Then I need Lordy. I knew I shouldn't put them so far away. I need the other piece like this from this one. You are over here. And I need you. Okay? The only other thing I need is a scrap of regular white cardstock. Doesn't need to be very big, just a scrap of it. Here's one. Right here. And this is where my cows are going to come from. All right? All right, so let's start figuring out what we're going to do. First thing we need to do is we need to stamp our cows on here. And I am using Smoky Slate because I like that kind of muted. You could use Memento if you wanted a solid dark cow. I like the kind of subtle muted, but that's my style. I like that. Those are my colors. It's my jam. So I'm going to put you over there, and I just need my cow, which is probably, she's here already on a block because I used her a bunch earlier today. And I want 2 cows. So I'm going to ink her up. And I'm going to stamp her right here. And right here. Now, you could use your Stampin' Blends and color. You could use a marker. I am, and if you remember, if you've been here at some point with me in the past, you know I love watercolor pencils. I think the Stampin' Up! Watercolor pencils are just the coolest. And I love my blender pens. So these are just like my standard coloring tools, just because they're really forgiving, not expensive, and a great investment. So my cow is going to be, I'm using Cajun Craze, which gives us a little reddish brown color. And I'm just going to go ahead now, because it's watercolor, you don't have to be fussy. You're basically laying down color. So you're just going to put the color in her spots, filling it in as much as you can, but it's so forgiving. If I did this with a marker, I'm going to have lines I don't like. I'm going to color her nose and a little bit on the ears, right? Whoops, I miss this one every time. There's a little spot back here near her tail. And then we're going to do this one too. Now you could use any color for your cow, whatever your cow color is. I am not a cow expert. I see them a lot here in Vermont, but I don't know which is what. I could guess and I would be completely wrong, and some cow person will tell me, no, that's not what it is. It's a spotted cow. At this point, we're teaching Rosie that the cow says moo. That's all I need to know. So go, and it's much easier if you do this now before you use the dies on it and cut it out. And then the cool part is to grab your blender pen. These come double-ended. The same thing on both ends. It doesn't matter which one you use. And you are going to be kind of light-handed. If you scrub, you will, the paper will kind of ball up on you. So don't get carried away and scrub, but if you just kind of, especially these little spots, you're just going to dab away at the color. And if I zoom in for you, you're going to see that my lines kind of go away as the blender pen does what its name says it is, and it blends it in, right? And I'm going to tell you right now, this is an older set of blender pens that I've had probably 2 years sitting in my closet, and it's a little dry. I'm not going to pretend that it's perfect. It's not. I have new ones on order, but I had these here and I just grabbed them, and I'm a little disappointed. They do last a very long time, but truthfully, I've been away from Stampin' Up! For a bit, and these were not purchased this time. So you will have much better luck with yours. They will be more juicy than mine currently are, although it works fine. It truly does. You don't refill them. When they run out, they run out. But I will tell you, these are over 2 years old. And it's still working fine. They're just not as wet as they sometimes are. On one of the other cards, I used the blender pen. And the ink, which is kind of a cool look. I'll show you that up close in a second too. Let me finish coloring Mr. Cow in his spots. See how they all just kind of blend in nice? It is the most forgiving coloring you will ever do. And if you feel like you need to go back, let it dry a little and then go back. And it's more of a daubing when you're getting this tiny than scrubbing. I have one that I scrubbed to show you how it was wrong. I don't know if I can find it. I see on this pig. Let me get it in view here. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. I scrubbed a little too much on her face, and she got kind of. See if I can make it happen. I probably can't now that I want you to see it. But if you scrub too much, it'll just look icky. So don't scrub. Okay. All right. So there's that. So let's get you back. Whoops, wrong way. Sorry. Make you super dizzy. Okay. Make sure you put your cap back on when you're done. And pop it over to the side. And then we're ready to use the dies. Now, there's only one cow, so I'm going to have to do this twice, but she's very wrinkly pig. Here is my cow, and I'm going to pop her on, and you'll see that she fits perfectly. The die fits the stamp. I've been having a hard time getting these on here. I'm not shaky today, but for some reason I just keep nudging it off. And my Post-it note, and I'm going to go ahead and run this through up here in the die cut station off to the left. It's just another table that's next to me. But if I use that, then it doesn't make the camera wobble and wiggle and make you dizzy. You can probably hear it. Mrs. Cow's going through the machine. Remember, we talked about this last week. The beauty of this sandwich is it tells you right here what you need. 1, 2, 3, 3. 1, 2, she has been 3, 3. Okay? All right, so let's get out of there, Miss Cow. There's 1. And let's do 2. And I line these guys up. Put the die down. Whoopsie, get it where I want. This is what I've been doing all day. I don't know what my deal is. Get over, Miss Cow. It's usually not that hard. I don't have a magnet one. I don't know why it's jumping. Just me. I could have pretended and cut them first, but hey, we do real life here. We don't edit. When I look a fool, you get to see it. But I want you to see how cards really are made. You know, it doesn't all come out perfect every time. All right, there she is. Okay, so now we need one more thing. I'll show you in a sec what it is. So there's our 2 cows, right? Now we're going to work on our mountain. And there are 3 little dies. They're more like grass hills. They're not really mountains. And you're going to line up the 3 of them. Oh gosh, I remember one fell on the floor. Hold on, let me look closely. I got carried away earlier when one dropped on the floor and I never looked for it. And I said, I'm going to need to look for this in a bit. And I didn't. So we may only have 2 mountains on this one till I find it. I think it went under something. And of course it's teeny, teeny, tiny. And my floor's perfectly clean. Shoot. We're going to have 2 mountains. I'm under the desk right this second. How far could you go? Usually it's stuck on the bottom of my trimmer, but it's not. But there's room for 1 more anyway. And you can see it makes 1, 2, 3. I don't know what I do with 3. Trust me, it'll be okay. I'm going to run you through my plates up here. And then 2 is going to pop up. The 3rd one's going to pop up just when I walk out of the room in a minute. It's okay. Come on along. We can roll with 2 hills instead of 3. There they are. A friend of mine uses a magnet, and my husband has one, and I keep meaning to grab it in here that you use to get, like at a construction site, the kind that you clean up the nails out of the driveway. I need that in here so I can find the dies that I drop on the floor. All right, so we're going to go with 2 hills on this one. And then I need this little piece is going to get stamped from All of Us. This is one I cut off, right? And I am going to use my old olive because that's the green that I have. And it'll go. It'll work. How about let's do this one because I don't see From All of Us right here and I don't want to keep you guys waiting while I search. Let's use Today is a Good Day. Oh, a bright flashlight. That's a great idea. Today is a Good Day is going to go right here. And we're good with that. And then we are going to trim it, but I'm going to wait until I get it on there, but it's stamped. And then I need to do this piece. This uses this funky cool strip, right? Let me put this out of my way. Oh, there's the one I wanted. Today's a Good Day. From All of Us. I wanted that one. There's still hope, guys. I made the mistake of doing this earlier today. And sometimes it's good to practice, and other times I do better when I'm fresh and I haven't already practiced. So let me try this again, just so that I can make a choice. So if it looks just like the same card. Hold on. So this says From All of Us, which is kind of what I wanted the cows to say. Oh, yep, I'm happier with that. That's what it's going to say. All right, so let's fix the end of it since I know that's what it's going to do. I'm going to just trim you right here, right? And then in much of the tutorials, I'll say, oh, I talked about this in the video. In this case, I'm going to talk about this in the video right now. This is the banner end. If you don't have a punch that cuts the banner or a die, cut your piece like this once you've gone ahead and stamped, and then come in the middle with a snip, give or take a little. It doesn't matter exactly how far. It's not that precise. And then come from the corners into that point. And then you get this cute little banner end to your sentiment, right? If I hold it against a dark one, see it? Then you're going to notice in this that there's kind of a shading. I grabbed the smoky slate and a Stampin' Dauber, and I just literally went right along the edge, which is going to make this pop off the card before I put it down. Just go around the edge, light, nothing crazy, just a little flick with your dauber. And then we're going to let that dry too. And now we're going to do the part with this curly Q thingy, but we're going to use not this one, this one. This is that other paper that I showed you we cut, and we're going to go ahead right along the edge, the top part. This is the 2x6. So I just cut it, and then we'll trim off this piece at the end in a minute. Let me show you. So I want it as close to the top as I can. Let me run it through, and then I'll bring it back and show you what it looks like. And then I think we're done with die cutting. I think we've assembled all the parts now. Okay, so this is what it looks like, and you're thinking, well, that's kind of weird. It is, but it's not going to be in a second when we use our snips, and we're going to just take you right off. And then this one, I'm going to use my trimmer because I think I can cut a straight line, but I won't, and then I'll be mad. All right? So I'm going to put this in. I'm going to line this up so it's going to go right down at the end. I can see down through the split where the trimmer goes. And now I have this piece, which looks really cool. These are my rolling hills, the rolling hills of Vermont, right? Now I'm ready to play with my card and put this all together. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take this piece, and I'm going to stick this on down the front. And again, eyeball it so that I get the same size border around the whole thing. I'm gonna adhesive this one, and I'm gonna line you up. And I use, let me zoom you in a little. I use the dots on the page to help me, which are great. The pattern paper kind of gives you an idea of where to go. And line you up right across there. Don't stick it super tight up here because I'm going to tuck Mrs. Cow in there. This lady is going to go on with adhesive. And I'm going to tuck her feet under just a little so she looks like she's eating the grass, right? And then this one is going to get some dimensionals. If you watched my my Facebook page over the weekend, I had a sleepover with my granddaughters on Saturday night, and we got we played with a paper pumpkin kit, which they adored. But Lucy said, Lucy is 5. My favorite thing is these little, I just love these little sticker things. Dimensionals and Lucy are it. She loves them. So even though I vacuumed, we picked up, I'm still finding little dimensionals here and there in the living room. They're on my socks. They're on the dog. I'm going to just take you and tuck you under her feet. See it? The little mound of grass that she's standing on. Now you should have 3, which in a real world we would have 3. At the moment we're going to have 2 because I just lost one. This one's going to get a dimensional as well. And if you need to, there are mini dimensionals. I don't have any right this minute. So I'm just going to cut this little baby in half because I don't want it to stick out. Pop you right there. But there are mini ones. They do come in super handy. As I said, she was a dimensional fiend, and I need to reorder. She's so cute. We had fun, though. And then you are going to go here under the back foot. And then remember I said from all of us, with dimensionals, and that it got shaded. And that is going to go here. I find in this case, it's kind of easier to get all the pieces ready and then assemble all at once. Notice I have this guy ready to go right here, And I didn't add any embellishments of any kind, but you can. And there is that card. Card number 1 from all of us. When I find that other die, which I will, then I can add my third mountain over here. Mound of dirt. But you can see that's what it was supposed to have, 3. Okay? All right, so that's card number 1. Card number 2 that we're going to make tonight, let me move you over here. Card number 2 is this one, and this is done with soft seafoam, not any pattern paper. So again, the same card base, the 8.5 by 11, cut in half and scored at 4 1/4, and then I have a 4 by 5 1/4. I have to cut it. This is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I know there's quarters and halves that make my head hurt too, but I want that same size, 4 by 5 1/4. Now, what could you do with this cardstock? You could use it's gone. Embossing folder. You could use an embossing folder and get some cool look to the back of this. I didn't here. We're going to do kind of a backwards look. All right, I'm going to take, so there's that. I'm going to take a 2-inch wide piece of cardstock, and I'm going to use that same mountainy look that I just did on the other one. But I'm going to do this backwards. So I want it down at this end. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to take this little mountain, and this time I want it down here as far as it'll go, okay? Instead of at the top like we did. And then I'm going to take this, let me see if I can remember how because I did this backwards of what I was thinking. Yeah, it's going to go backwards at the bottom. So the mountains are pointing down, or it's going to go this way at the top. Yeah, 6 of one, half a dozen the other. Do you hear what I mean? Sorry, that sounded really confusing and it didn't need to be. Let me run it through and you'll see why I'm a little baffled at which way you're holding it. But the look is still cool. This particular card was a leftover piece and I fell in love with it. So I have to make it be a leftover without being a leftover. But I will. So a 2-inch piece. The length again, we're going to cut it when we're done. So don't worry about how long it is. Just longer than 5 1/4, which is that little die. It can be a scrap of something that you have. All right. So there's that. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to trim it right here. And then this is going to go along here. So it makes this look like the mountain. This is now the sky. I know, crazy. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to ink it because I want it to stand out from my background. So again, my same little dauber. And I again used my smoky slate because I don't want it to be super dark. And we're just going to go ahead around the edges. And I have to tell you, every time I do this, I think of Debbie Pinson. Debbie followed me for years. I think Debbie's off making her own cards now. I haven't seen her lately. When I stopped doing cards, and went to scrapbooking, Debbie said, no, I'm a card maker, I'm staying there. But she's the one that talked me into inking. I used to think it was messy and I couldn't do it. And then I found the daubers. Those of you that don't know my background, I've been a online Cricut teacher forever, and I did not stamp. I didn't know how to get messy. I thought it was terrible. I couldn't do it. I was only cut the paper, stick it down kind of girl, and I didn't realize what a die cut machine can do and how much dimension, without even using dimensionals, the machine would give you. I just didn't get it. And now I got it and I'm like obsessed. Okay, let's glue this down so we don't lose it, because you know me. And then I'm not going to do the whole bit with the sheep because it takes a bit, but I'm going to show you how to do the sheep. Is she good? Good. This goes right here, right? So now these kind of look like mountains here. Use your imagination. Trust me, they do. And I am going to take this cute die, just right here. These are the this is the ground, and I'm going to use Old Olive. I just got ink in my finger again, and I didn't break out in hives. And I'm going to go right along the bottom. 1, ink, 2 on either sides, and then in the middle without re-inking. So it looks like it's in the distance. Yep, right? So those are cool. Rolling hills. Now I need my gray again, and I need the cloud. Yep, there's a cloud in this stamp set. And I'm going to put the clouds up here in my greenish sky. And then I want one more thing, and I'm going to do it while we're at it. This is thinking happy thoughts of you. Sorry, I was having trouble reading upside down. And that's going to go right here. And now I'm ready for my sheep. Again, that scrap of paper. And I did 3 sheep. I'm only going to do 1 with you because I just want you to see it, and I know we're getting late. Later than I like to go usually. It's not that late, but we'll you know, I'll do a sheep. Come here. Oh cow. Let's get our sheep going. And I did him in the gray. Smoky slate. Right? Super simple. And then there is a sheep die. But there's also a die cut and a die emboss, I guess is the right word. It puts the little curly hair on our sheep. There's that. And then there's this one. This set has tons. Oh, the other good news is if you happen to have the mini Stampin' Die machine, these will fit on that. And I think that size is perfect for things like this. It doesn't really work with the big embossing machine, the embossing folders. So there are limits to it, but oh, it works so good with these little dies. So much easier to work with. And then we're going to pop this too in, and you can do these at the same time. Get in there. All right, so that's its texture. Let's see what this looks like. You're going to love it. Come on, Mr. Sheep or Mrs. Sheep. Can you see her up close? See? Ooh, if I do that, you can actually see it shining through her. See? She's got these little curly cues. She's so cute. And I just popped her right down there with some dimensionals. One of them is solid. We're just going to have one sheep on this card. And she's going to go right there. So there is card number 2. Here is card number 1. Right? Aren't they cute? I love the greens. I'm thinking spring here. Alrighty. This, I hope, showed up on YouTube as well. If you were on YouTube watching and asked questions, it doesn't show me them. I will come in later and answer if you had any questions. I wasn't ignoring you. If you are here on Facebook, hopefully I was keeping up with my questions and comments. I think that's all I had for you. Check out the classroom and see how easy these are for you to get these classes for free. And I will see you all soon. Have a